And
Yeah,
I'm
I mean
not
a
saying, I'm
small
not saying
one.
politically.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm dealing with issue right now, and I've lost some weight, so it's now. I mean, I have to buy a smaller jacket. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. All
So
right. Well, everybody, welcome to the West Virginia Rules and Bylaws Committee. This is May the 13th. It is 5:08, and I call this meeting to order. I think everybody received a copy. Well, let me do roll call first. Um, Bob Baker,
Here.
Dottie Berger,
Yeah.
Mac Halterman,
Present.
Deb McCarthy,
Here.
Maria Russo. She may join us briefly, but she probably is not going to be able to be here for the whole meeting. And we'll make an announcement when if and when she comes. Judy Stevens, she is not going to be able to join us this evening. Selena Vickers, I'm here. Ray Whiting.
here.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right. All in favor of adopting the agenda as presented, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Next, we have minutes. The minutes were sent out. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? Great. All in favor of adopting the minutes as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
I
Any opposed?
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Mac Alterman.
Aye, so no, I was not opposed to the to the minutes that I drew up.
Okay, awesome. All right, so the minutes are adopted. Thank you so much. All right, so that brings us to our primary business of the evening, which is the draft bylaws that we have been working on. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so just so this is a copy of the current bylaws of the State Executive Committee with amendments, draft amendments built into them. Let me get down here to where there is some, okay. Anything in red is our recommendation of new verbiage to adopt. Anything with strike through is, well, for the most part, strike throughs are, strike through of the current. Now, this right here and anything in yellow is stuff that that we're going to kind of talk about just like a little bit more here to just kind of finalize our thoughts on things. So, but just so you know, that is, and for folks out there watching, that's what the kind of the color coding and that sort of thing of what it looks like. So the first thing, yes,
Bob,
go
you
ahead.
go first.
I'm only seeing the word Zoom across my screen.
Oh, okay. I apologize for that. Let me see. Let me stop the share. Let me do this again. Screen 2. All right, how about now? Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm just going to start at the top and we're just going to go through until I see some color or strike through. Okay, so we are now in Article 5. This is the part of the bylaws related to the organization of the State Executive Committee. And so we have here on Section 3, we spent a lot of time on this attendance and proxy section. So we did, after this was sent out, we did tinker with it just a little bit. I want to make sure people are comfortable with this wording. But what it let me just read it out loud. Members of the West Virginia SDC who miss 3 consecutive meetings or 5 total meetings of the SDC have failed to meet the minimum level of attendance, which shall be good cause for removal, and then the process, and shall cause a notice from the recording secretary to be sent to such member, informing them that they are removed from membership immediately. However, such member may make an appeal to the Board of Appeals within 30 days of written notice. And then it goes on to talk about how, vacancies are created, because of this, shall be filled, in accordance with, Section 8. The B section talks about recognized organizations and how they can appoint their member if their member was removed related to this. And then it goes on to talk about the proxy situation and who can use as a proxy, and that proxies are limited to one. You could have hold one other your own vote and one other. So anyway, I know that this whole section is important to a lot of people. We wanted to make sure that we got it right. Let me just, especially for that yellow, I think we've agreed on everything. Just want to make sure that yellow part is okay. Okay. This strike through is previous language that we had. I'm just going to delete that. If we're okay with this language. And if there's no discussion, I'm just going to make this all red and take out the yellow. Okay. All right. So we got our attendance and proxy section coming down. We have about our organizational meeting. We have our effective notice here about the organizational meeting. We spent a lot of time on this about who the voting members at the organizational meeting are, which are basically the newly elected members and the ex officio. And then as new officers get added on, they are able to vote. This is our order of business that we spend a lot of time on. Here is our section on the officers being fair related to gender. We spend a lot of time on that.
Selena, do you want to take out those crossouts are from what was there before? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, because we didn't get to adopt this section, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I think I'll double check this, but I'm pretty sure we didn't get to we didn't adopt this section before. So moving on down. Okay, so here's the other thing that since we have this removal section up here about the attendance policy, we've already added this part because shall include this failure to comply with attendance policy provided in this section. And then I mean, my suggestion is like here where it says removal of a member, it says that a person may be removed from membership by affirmative vote, and it goes through a process for how to remove them. You have to have an affidavit of 2 people and things like that. But because this is a violation of attendance policy is an automatic removal with the option of appeal, I kind of felt like we should also put that in here. So I'm throwing out this language, although I don't necessarily think this language is the best. I just want to make sure we have all of our, I's dotted and T's crossed related to that. Does anybody have any thought about this?
You could add subject to the right to appeal right after the end of that to make it clear that that's available.
I don't like Article 5, Section 3 is mentioned twice. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be.
Yeah, I don't think you need the second one because that's
Okay.
it follows.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah, both the removal and the right to appeal are mentioned in 5.3a, so
Mhm.
that's good.
Okay. All right. There are several very, minor edits in here just to, take out the binary and be more inclusive, taking out the his and her and putting their in there. Those are very minor, but there's several of those in here. Okay, so now we are down to Article 6, which is the guidance for district, county, and city committees. Although I don't know that any place has city committees, but they were in the old bylaws. So in county committees, and the only reason I highlighted this is to just to make it easy to point out where the direction is going back to Article 5. So Article 5 is here are all the procedures for removal and proxies and quorum and things like that. And so, and this is not our language, this is basically a language from before we started, that the county committee shall be governed by the procedures set forth in Article 5. It was Article 4 then, but now Article 5, unless otherwise noted in this section, and the members and officers shall have such powers and duties within the county as the state executive committee has within the state. So, I just made that, highlighted it to make it easy to see. And we had said before in the attendance that the attendance policy was for the state executive committee, not for the county committees. And so my suggestion is that we make this perhaps F and then change these, but to just say attendance, the attendance policy in Article 5, Section 3 does not apply to county committees. However, the county committee may adopt a reasonable attendance policy under county committee bylaws. And that makes it clear that Article 5 attendance policy is not applicable to them, but they can adopt their own.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Does it fit right here okay?
Yeah, just change that to F.
Yeah. Okay, and then this will change to G, and this will change to H. Okay. Okay. Any other thoughts on this? Is that okay with everybody? Okay, hearing none. I assume it's okay, so I'm going to turn this red. Okay. Okay, some more inclusion. Edits. Okay. This section, Article 8, is related to the Board of Appeals. We just added a blurb that this is related to what the board can hear and make decisions on. And we just, in addition to the things that they are already doing, blah, 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 as well as appeals from violations of the attendance policy provided for in Article 5, Section 3A of these bylaws. And then I think that's all. So that's what we have. I'm gonna stop the share. I can go, well, maybe before I stop the share, I should ask, does anybody want to look at any of those individual sections before I stop the share? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna stop the share. Okay, all right, so how would you guys like to move forth with this work now?
I did have a question. From what I wasn't there last time, but from what I got from the video, Bob was supposed to bring up some other questions about how to restart a caucus and things like that. Are we going to let that go sine die?
Oh, no. No, what we discussed and decided is that we needed more information. And so we're going to, and Deb, you were pretty vocal about this as well. It's my understanding, now just I've like as soon as, just so you know, as soon as we had that meeting, I went on vacation and I got back yesterday or day before yesterday. So I haven't really had a chance to do anything. But we're going to talk to other states and see how they have addressed it. We're going to talk to the DNC and just see, we're just going to try to get more information and come back and make, just make the most informed decision that we can make. So that's what we want to do, is just gather more information and be very careful and do this in the most, in the best way possible to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and being as inclusive and fair as possible.
So what we have now that we're presenting to the executive committee is not the final version of the bylaws. Is that correct? Because we're going to add on Bob's data.
Well, this is what we're going to present, just like what we presented last year. We presented a set of amendments that they adopted, and when they adopted, when there was like one piece that we pulled that is now in this piece, and so they will have the option of adopting or not. If they adopt it, then those would be the bylaws. But we know that bylaws are a thing that's sort of like we knew right from the get-go that there was like a lot, and we've kind of done this in somewhat tranches. And so there will be, after this meeting, we'll continue to meet, and that is definitely something that we are going to work on, is the diversity issue that was referred to us from the state executive committee. So we'll continue to work, but whatever we pass tonight will be what will go to the state executive committee in this kind of, for lack of a better word, tranche.
So this is a to be continued kind of thing. Understood.
The diversity part of it, yes, because we just need a little bit more time to gather some more information. Yes.
Selena?
Yes, sir.
At the bottom of page 16 in the diversity, it looks like there's just a typo.
Okay.
The very last line, where it says Latine. Should that be Latinx or Latino?
No, that is a word that the Latine caucus has given us,
Okay.
and they prefer that language.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure it was intentional.
Yes,
We're
it's
evolving,
intentional.
Bob.
Yes, exactly. Yes, but thank you for pointing that out. All right, any other, yes, Mac.
Oh, finish up what you were going to do and then come to me.
I was just gonna ask, how would you guys like to move forward with the next steps with this group of amendments?
Make a motion.
So Mac, that was all I was gonna,
Yep. All right.
yeah, you go ahead. I think you're good.
Should it please the committee, I wish to move that this tranche of amendments be adopted by the committee for pending any administrative edits by the secretary and chair for presentation for adoption at the next state executive committee meeting.
Thank you for that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Great, thank you. All right, so there's a motion on the floor to I'm paraphrasing, to adopt this for presentation and submission with a recommendation to adopt to the state executive committee, and also a caveat to be able to make some administrative edits, that may need, typographical things, formatting changes if needed. So with that motion on the floor that Mac made, is there a motion to adopt that motion? I'm sorry, please say aye if you're in favor of that motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, excellent. All right, motion adopted. We have a tranche of amendments, and so we will get those ready, get those out to the state executive committee very quickly. I think we only have a day or two to get those out to make this the 30-day notice. Okay, good. I'm glad that you put that in let me just read that back, the motion. The specific motion was a move that this tranche of amendments be adopted by the committee pending any administrative edits by the chair and secretary be considered by the state executive committee at their next meeting. Can you see that, Dottie, in the chat?
No, that was directly to you. I don't have the only people we have the ability to send written motions to is yourself and Corey right now.
Okay, all right. I will send that to Dottie, so he'll have that specific language. Okay, awesome. Let's see. Oh, I think
Selena, will you send that forward? I just want to make sure it's not caught between you and me.
Yeah, hold on just a second. I think I can send it to you right now because I think where I'm a co-host, I think I can. No, I can't. Hey, Corey, can you cut that message from Mac and send it to Dottie so that he has it? And if you can't do it in the chat, would you care to do it by email?
Yeah, just send it to me right quick.
It's in the chat.
It went just to yours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's Zoom chat's weird. But yeah, if you
Okay.
give it to me, I can get it to them, no problem, or however you want to do it.
Yeah, I can't. For some reason I can't copy it. I don't know. Control
Or
C.
if Mac, if you want to, if you can copy it and send it to me, whoever, I can make sure it gets to Dottie.
I'm about to drop a picture of it to you, Corey, because you can't copy out of Zoom chat. That's just not one of the functions it has.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's awesome.
They just won't let me copy, but okay. Well, anyway. All right. So, all right. The other thing that I think that we had talked about at the last meeting is
one before we get off that again. So you will forward the stuff to the executive committee, or should I do that, or how? I just want to make sure it's not caught between our two
Oh, I
stools.
see what you're saying. I thought you were talking about that motion. Why don't you and I talk about that before it goes out, and just kind of, I'd like to have your eyeballs on it. So why don't we just have a little conversation about that before, maybe like later tonight or tomorrow morning. Okay.
Tomorrow's good.
Okay. Excellent. So we had talked about having a meeting on May the 28th. And maybe having another one, but that not necessarily be like a meeting, a typical meeting that we would have, but a meeting that we invite lots of people to, members of the state executive committee, members of the County Chairs Association, and just basically use it as an opportunity, an educational opportunity to make sure that people know. Now, I mean, I don't think we're going to get a lot of pushback on any of this. I think every one of these amendments are very reasonable amendments. They are things that I think the majority of the people want in terms of accountability and fairness and all that stuff like that. So I don't think that we're going to have any issues. But the more people understand and have an opportunity to ask questions, I think the better off, we all are. So if everybody is still okay with that, May 28th at 6:30 for us to have all this be together, but it'll be basically a presentation of the amendments and then have an opportunity for people to ask questions and that sort of thing. Are we still okay with that? Are we good with that process?
Selena, I'll probably be traveling up to
Okay.
Cape Cod for a wedding, so I'll be
Nice.
en route somewhere. I don't know where I'll be, but I'll be traveling.
Okay,
And
I understand.
now I'll be in a different time zone by quite a bit.
Okay. All right. Well, that never stopped you, Bob. You usually, if you can get Wi-Fi, you usually try to join us.
I don't think I can stay up past midnight.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, I like the idea of us doing that. If there's no objection, I think that I just like to be as inclusive as possible with what we're trying to do and give people an opportunity to ask questions and that sort of thing. So, so we'll go ahead and try to plan for that as well. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that anybody wants to bring up right now, or anything else that we need to do before we adjourn? Man, this is like our shortest meeting ever. And I was like thinking before it might be a long meeting. So this is good. Okay. All right.
I got the email. I can't send you a thing back, but
Okay, I was just making sure that you got it. I'm glad you got it. And just from my point of view, good job, everybody. I know I've been here on the sidelines. I haven't been as active in as a committee member. But sitting through all of your all's meetings, you've taken it all very seriously. And it is something that needed to be done, and it's very commendable. So I just wanted to say from the outside looking in, good job to all of you.
Thanks,
Oh,
Corey.
thank
well,
you.
thank you so much, Corey. And we really appreciate the work that you do to help us be able to, have this meeting, to be able to communicate easily with each other, and also the ability to put this out on YouTube so that these meetings can be accessible to, everybody that, all, 3 people that might be interested in that stuff besides us.
Well,
Hey,
I'm glad I could play a part.
Came in handy for me last time.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, Deb, safe travels to you. I've always wanted to go to Cape Cod, and Bob and Ruth, safe travels to you guys as well. All right. Okay, we'll take care. Meeting adjourned.